Welcome back. Today we're at a job where we're doing the electrics for a media wall install. It's on a new build property, so it's got the latest fuse board with surge. It has sadly got a split load board, but it has got type A RCDs, so it's not too bad. We've got all the tools out. I'll put a little video over now saying how I've set up all my little work mats throughout the property to get to the lounge where we're situated. Got all the camera gear in. We've got a rubber bag. We've got Cat 5, or is that Cat 6? That might be Cat 6. It is external cable, but obviously that's just what I've got. We've got the Morky box with all my bits and bobs in, and then we've got my new little purchase, which is the Keta workbench, Costco special. I think it was 60 quid, so bargain. Just saves bending down all the time to pick up your tools, because obviously we're going to be working a little bit down there, but then we're moving all of that up into that space there on the wall. So what I'll do now is I'll put a photo on the screen of what I've been sent from the customer, which is saying what the company that are installing like a fancy media wall here specify that they need and where exactly they need it. But the generics are move all the sockets, the aerial and the internet up into that box there, which the customer has drawn in the exact location. First protocol is pretty much set it up, get all the tools in, done that. Next one, take off this big ugly grid switch and have a look to see how bad the new build people have wired it up. I'm just going to use my Stanley knife to pop out the white tabs which are in the corners here, as you can see. So let's poke these in and get these out. I'll probably just snap my Stanley blade. Great. There we are, there's one gone. So I've popped them white tabs out in the corners so I can unscrew this faceplate now. It's still live, but I just want to unscrew it a bit to see what we're working with. But before I do that, I am going to cut around the faceplate, because most new builds, they actually run a bead of like fire seal, masticky stuff around, and the painters go absolutely mad and cover the whole socket. Next little job on the list is buy some new screwdrivers, because you can see how bent that one is. Yeah. Did definitely not try and lift the floorboard. I'll put that on my Amazon wish list. Hopefully one of you guys will be kind enough to buy me a Christmas present this year. Oh, I already feel like going and get an electric screwdriver out of the van. This is painful. Is it going to be a new build special? What have we got behind here? It's not too bad. Right, so we've got a ring main in and out for the sockets, which is just piggybacks between the two. And then we've got a phone line, and we've got a Cat 6, and then we've also got an aerial, and then we've also got two spare ones. So this is a bit of a close-up on how it's done. So obviously the middle one there is Cat 5 or 6, but internet, because it's using all 8 cores, and then that one's only using 4. And they're doubled up, so I presume that's the phone line. I'm going to keep these screws underneath my little workbench in the little safe haven so I don't lose them. Next little job is safe isolation. Uh-oh. You know someone's typing away in the comments already when you get this out for safe isolation. Only joking. I'll get my continuity tester out, proving unit, and make sure this is dead and go in. Turn it off. I've just planned out, so if I tap this, on the last video I showed you the difference between dab and not dab, but you can hear there's not any dab coming up where the cables are, so that's fine because the cables come straight up. So what the plan is, cut a little hatch above that socket here, and then actually from here pull them across to there. So what I'm thinking zone wise is, obviously because we're coming from down there and it's got to come vertically up or across, actually we're going to put that socket front back on, so it's going to look like the socket's there, so anyone will know there's still cables in the wall that way. But then also the new sockets are going in the wall here. Obviously we're using horizontal zones going across from there, so it's going across from there, so them cables are covered coming across, and then vertically from all the way down and up they're covered by that socket plate down there. And I'm actually going to stick a Brother Label printer sticker on the front of that socket just saying cables running vertically above, even though there's no cables behind it, so then people know in the future if they take that off. So that's one thing to bear in mind when doing stuff like this. You'd love to just rod it behind the wall, or like from there to there, because it is actually hollow all the way, but it's just going on the vertical, which obviously is not allowed, but some people do that. Let's stop waffling. Drop a like if you haven't already, and subscribe. And we're going to install this double socket here, not this specific one, because this is a 47mm box and it's absolutely massive. But we're going to use this to draw around, and we're going to put one there, then we're going to use a little bit of a 10mm gap, and then one there, same gap again, one there. So there's going to be 3 double sockets, and then we've got at the top, we've got the one single knockout box, which is going to house the aerial and the internet cable. Also, the customer's legend made me a cup of tea. In the centre, near the bottom of where he wants it, I'm going to put my little level on top, which is a Stabila little level. I'm not partnered with Stabila, it's just the one I've got. And then draw around that box. So the camera's struggling to focus because it is a white wall, but you can see I've got that drawn on the wall. And then I'm just going to rinse and repeat that process with a gap between the two, so above again. Before I mark out them sockets and cut them into the wall on this media wall install, I'm just going to quickly talk to you about the Tado system we installed at a family member's property, as it's now been a few months, and I'd just like to recap a few different bits on how it's been used, as I like to recap back to videos and let you know how products have been working when I've been sent out goods to try and obviously promote. So I want to give honest and real world feedback. And then also Tado are currently hosting a Black Friday sale, which obviously gets you discount off. They are hosting obviously the professional installer scheme, and then there is new products as well, the new X range, which is available. So you can still purchase the kit that I use, the V3 starter kit, but there's also a new X range. So far over the past few months, a bit of feedback I've had coming into these winter months is from the family members. They've loved the capability of controlling each different room with different temperatures, because there's certain rooms in the property where the temperature holds and retains the heat, especially one room where it's got a log burner installed. Obviously they don't really want the radiators on, but as soon as you light that log burner, it is absolutely roaring in there, so they don't want to be wasting energy and heat via the radiators in that room. So then they're directing that heat to the room where the dog is throughout the day, in the kitchen where it loses heat because it's on the back of the property, which is not south facing. So far it's been a real good system and they're enjoying it. They've had no real flaws. There was one little incident with the Tado system, well, that wasn't actually Tado's fault, that was actually the family member's fault. So they didn't realise they had a child lock feature, because I didn't actually explain that to them. And the child, as they were walking past the radiator, kept accidentally knocking the smart thermostat and actually altering the temperature. So then obviously I've showed them on the app how you can lock them via child lock, and then obviously they don't alter the temperature. So that's obviously one feature we found, but I found out a way to rectify it, and that was more the sense of me not explaining the full capabilities of the app and the Tado system. There is a few little things on sale, like I said, through the Black Friday sale, so definitely go and check that out. There'll be a link in the description of this video to go and check that out. So there's the new products available, which obviously are a complete different look, but the previous ones are still available. Both are still compatible with Google, Apple Home and Alexa, so you can make it a smart home if you want to link that in. And obviously, if you are an installer out there, don't forget to register for the professional installer scheme. You can set up the Tado app on your phone if you have it personal, and then you can also set up an app for a professional as installers. So you can have 2 separate apps so it doesn't interfere with your home install. And then there is also a reward scheme if you're part of that. Don't forget to check Tado out, but let's get back to making some noise and cutting in them sockets. Just turn on my laser now so they're all bang on in line. So if I just use that as the edge, put my laser on the one edge. Easy as that. We've got all of them marked out, as you can see if I block the laser. So it doesn't look too bad. I've got the Hoover in now, as you can see. All the stuff there, ready to rock and roll. Got a new multi-tool blade in. We have got some new builders out there with a forklift that look like they're about to ram into the house, but they're not. So let's get cutting out all of them, if this camera wants to focus. There we go. And that's another good thing about the workbench. The Hoover's at the right height, so you'd have to hold the Hoover as well. So that's that one cut out. But the only thing I'd say is, I don't know if you saw that. With my multi-tool, it's been doing that recently. You turn it on, it's been like, it's not on the auto function, but it's been going like, turning on a little bit and then turning off, turning on, turning off. And I think that is a known problem with multi-tools, so I think my multi-tool's actually broke. So Milwaukee, if you're watching this, I think it's time you give me a new multi-tool, because that one is absolutely naff, considering it's a year old. Like, I love the multi-tool, but ultimately it shouldn't be breaking after a year. And I've not really used it loads and loads. So, right, let's stop whinging and let's cut the other two out. So that's all them boxes cut out. We've got 3 doubles and a single. There's no bits of dab on them ones, so there was a bit of dab on that one and that one, but I've cut it out of the way. These blocks, sorry, I can't speak today, are thermalite as well, so it's chipped a bit of that off, but that's fine. At least we'll be able to get a good solid fix in on all of them, and hopefully rod across to this little hatch I'm going to cut here, so then we're all within zones and we're all happy. From here, obviously we've got the zones from there to there, across, there to there, down, so it's just a matter of now isolating the power, cutting a little hole, not going as deep here as we don't want to catch any of the cables. You can see the advantages of using the Velocity Pro Gear workmatch. I just keep a rubber bin, put all the big bits in it, and then I'll just quickly hoover up all the little bits. I just like to stay on top of it. I'm going to laser from down here, if I spin you around, so all the way down there, where the twin and earth comes in. I'm going to put my laser on that and laser that up, and it should be around here. And then I'll go 1 centimetre to the left, so a bit of leeway, because they're never really clipped perfectly straight. Not, you know, not everyone's as good as me, do you know what I mean? So go from there, and then I'll go from where the aerial cables are, so then that will create my edges, and then I'll just create a square, cut that out, and then pull the cables up and across. I just realised the camera was pointing down here and I was showing you up here, but I basically just said I'm going to get the edges and then cut a square. Yes, it's a little bit big, but I would rather cut a bigger hatch out like that, make sure I can get the cables, and then also happy that it's still all within zones, so it's going to literally get a nice swooping bend. The bend radius isn't going to be a lot. It's all about just doing a good job to regs. You sometimes do have to sacrifice creating a little bit more damage, but you're not, you say creating a bit more damage, but you're not actually creating more damage, because I find it easier to cut out a little bit of a big hatch like that, nice square cut, and it's easier to patch that back in. So literally once this is cut out, you can see how it cuts out nice to the right here. So it's literally a case of, I'll keep that square, just put a few bits of lath, or just get, if you've got the builders are still on site, literally working next door today, you could say to them, oh look, if you've got a bit of plasterboard muck, just literally throw it in, bit of dab, squash that bit in, put a bit of scrim tape around it, bit of easy fill around the edges, and your jobs are good. So you probably just saw me do that. That's another good little trick. So if you cut it and you feel it, as long as you're cutting majority the way through, and then these cables, believe it or not, I'm not going to lie to you, they're still live, because I've not been and turned it off because the customer's using the Wi-Fi. So they're still live, but I've cut very close to the edge of the plasterboard, and then all the edges are clean cuts, and then I just tap it like that, and then it's going to come out in one solid piece without nicking any cables. I hope. Nah, I've done it a few times. This ain't my first radio. So let's now try and pry this little piece out without cracking it, hopefully. But sometimes that's easier said than done. Okay, so you can see I've managed to get that out in one solid piece. All of our cables there, none of them have got nicks on any of the satellite or the cat cables. The ring main has actually got metal capping, which doesn't do anything, because I would have still multi-tooled straight through that. Another good little tip as well, I'll just put like a little star here, or a little X at the top, and then a little X there, so they know exactly which way it's going. So now I can pull them ones back up, and then feed them straight across, up into that one there. So that's completely with zones, even though it's going on the angle up there, because obviously from there to there, you know there's cables coming across, so that's fine. And then we're just trying and splice into that metal capping, cut it back, and then obviously take the ring main back up and across into that. So one leg into that one, one leg into that one, and obviously legs in between, and then that will create the loop for the ring main. So this capping isn't actually nailed anywhere near here, so I can actually lift that out a bit and see the cables and probably pull them out here. Right, the power's off, as you can see. What's that little wonderful device down there? That I have checked, don't worry, but that is a good little safety precaution as well before you are about to touch anything. Check with your woo-woo pen. So that is a Klein Tools one, pretty good to be fair. So what I've ended up actually doing is actually cutting the capping out of the way. So you can see here, I've cut it there, not nicked the cables, and then now I'm hoping I can pull this and it will come up. So there's one out, that's good, and then let's get the other one out. So that's the other one out. That one's the phone line, so I'll just not scribble on that one, whereas this one is obviously the internet, so I'll scribble on that one, just so I know. The one with the scribble on, which is obviously going to get replaced, like cut the scribble, is the Cat 6 one, which we need. There's another one out. Next little job on the list, get my Brother label printer velocity bag out, which has got the Brother label printer in it, keywords in the name, and then hopefully the battery has not died because of the cold, although I did charge it up the other day. So let's get this out, nice snug fit. Let's turn it on, and I'm just going to print a label off saying cables ran vertically above this socket, and stick that in the back box, so if anyone takes it off they know not to drill. And then also I'll stick one on the middle of that socket front saying, so I'll just stick it across the front here, just saying cables ran vertically from here. So I've put in what I want, click print, and it's probably going to say ran out of tape, because I think I'm nearly on last legs. I know. So what we've got there is, if it focuses, cables running vertically above here with an arrow up. I think that is pretty good. So I'm going to stick that in the back box, one on the faceplate, and then everyone is aware that they're still using the zone of that socket place, rather than causing more damage and having to reroute all the cables. That's the labels all stuck on the box, so I put one on each one saying that the cables ran vertically above here, which obviously there is, and then they're going to go straight across into that. So that's zonings, you'll know if it's from there. You take the sockets off, they're going to go left, or you go left or up, and then from here, you know, they could go up or across, but obviously I've labelled it up saying vertical. So I've also stuck it on this as well. Spoke to the media wall company, they're happy with what I've done so far, so that's good. Why wouldn't they be? Because I'm awesome. I've been round, had a look at my other jobs I need to do with this property, made a big list on my phone, on my Tradeify, so made a materials list on there. So I've got everything labelled out. So outside the back, I need a whisker box, 20 watt floodlight, kinetic receiver, kinetic switch, and then I've already got 1mm clips and stuff like that on my van. In the garage, I need 4 lengths of 20mm conduit, 6 adapters, 10 saddles, 3 surface mobile boxes, 3 double sockets, click, and 1 coupler just in case I need to extend some conduit. Then in the lounge I need double KO boxes, so I just need to buy a pack of them to keep in stock of the van, and obviously I'm going to use 4 here. Then I need 3 more click double sockets, I need a double faceplate to go on that top one, and then I need 4 blanks. So I need 1 blank for up there because I'm only using TV, aerial and phone line, and then there's going to be a blank, and then the other 3 spare are going down here on this faceplate here where there's 3 missing, where my hands are coming through. So Tradeify is good for that. You can just keep all of your little things on one place, so you can keep track of everything using Tradeify's new feature, which is Smart Read. So it's AI technology, like everything else in this world, everything's going to AI. So it's Smart Read, that's the functionality of it. So when you're attaching a invoice from a supplier to a job, for that job to get the overall costings of how much you spent on that job, so you upload the photo, PDF, anything like that of that job sheet. So say all these materials I'm about to buy from either Cities, Power, whoever, whatever wholesalers I'm using, it will smart automatically read the line items. So category 5 external cable, it will read that and put the price next to it, and organise it all, so then it's labelled on that job how much I've actually spent, so then obviously you can do your profit loss returns and all that calculations. So that is really good for working out your margins of when you're starting up on, to know if you are charging the right amount of money for what you're actually spending, because it soon adds up. So say like here, the material wise, it's not a lot, it's more of labour for this type of job, because it's a bit more technical. You don't want to nick the cables and you want it to look good to comply with electrical regulations. So that's that. Whereas out the back for an outside floodlight, it's not necessarily as labour intensive, but it is in the sense of materials wise. So the kinetic receivers, they aren't cheap. The switches, they're not cheap. All that soon adds up. So it's good to keep track and have a database and look back of how much materials cost you before. So I've currently got, I need to speak to the wholesalers to be fair, I've got fuse box RCBOs where they've charged me, I think it's $14.99, and then the week before I think they charged me $9.95. So I need to speak to them and say, look, why have you charged me two different prices? And the only reason I found that out was looking at the two different prices on the different job sheets. So it's definitely something worthwhile to check out. So if you do want to grab Tradify, you can grab it using Adam30 or the link in the description. So I've put my green chalk lines using the Marksman on the wall. Then I'm going to go in with the Marky SDS with a 6mm hole, smashing the fish plugs, put the grommets in, screw them boxes in, get the cables across. Got the boxes in, all secure. We've got the cables all in. Obviously we've got the ring main leg in the bottom, ring main leg at the top, and then the links in between. So get these 3 double sockets wired up, turn the power back on, give it a test, make sure it's all fine, and then obviously the customer can get back on the Wi-Fi and get back to work, even though they probably don't want to, because yeah, it's a good little excuse when you're working from home and an electrician like me comes around and turns the power off. But yeah, let's get this sorted. So that's them all stripped, sleeved up, ready to go. We're fitting click double sockets here, so a nice range, and we are going to be fitting the click double blank at the top here. 3 double sockets on. Just going to go and turn the power back on now. And then we'll get the box, well, get all them cables across up to there. So I've pinned them back so they're nice and secure, and then obviously they go straight across into the sockets. Obviously one goes up like that, into that one, links in between. They're back on and working. Data, aerial, shotgun cable, all of that lot just comes up like that, straight across to there. Obviously from there to there is all within zones, horizontal, technically, all the way to that way and all the way that way. You wouldn't really run it all the way around, but here, because we've got that, it's fine. And then obviously you got from down there with that back on, going all the way up. So in my eyes, we're covered there. I've just gone to the phone line point, but I've twisted the pairs I need, made a memory note in my head of what I need to do. Then I've got my Velocity tool pouch little organizer with my data internet stuff in there. So I'm gonna have a look in here and find the crimper. Just got to put that blank on. They're all clipped back, 3 double sockets on, aerial point, Cat6, phone line, and obviously the shotgun cables behind there. All nice and in line within the parameters of where the installers wanted it. So overall, happy job. Right, so whilst I'm just packing away my tools and sorting out all this scrap cable, so all these little bits, obviously I'm going to keep, and then put in my green cable bin. So I actually had a bit of a catch up with one of the founders of Green Cable Bin yesterday, and had a little chat, and he gave me a little goodie bag, and I gave him a little Christmas present as well. So it was nice to catch up with Ed. He's given me some of the green cable rubble sacks, so I'm going to get one of them out of the van now, fill this up with, because even though this is tiny little bits of cable, it soon adds up. So like yesterday, I've got it in my little box here, I pulled out loads of bundles of 2.5 out of the house, and that is, the bottom of that box is full, so that's ready to fill up that green cable sack as well. I've got some meter tails in my van, and I've got some other bits and bobs of scrap also, some scrap cable, some old scraps that the plumber didn't want, so I said I'll have them fill up my green cable sacks and then fill up the bin when I get home, and then that can be collected. So that's another little money earner to win, so I'll put a link in the description for that also. So I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching, but overall it's just been me installing these 3 extra double sockets, moving them from down below, showing obviously things to bear in mind. So if you are thinking of having a smart media wall like this, you just got to bear in mind, speaking to the installer who's doing it, how they want it doing, they're having like lights in each side and a fireplace and obviously a TV. So I'll put some photos on the screen now of the end result so you can have a look, because I'm sure this customer will send them photos over. So thanks for watching, catch you next one, bye.